And as we talk about risk on, got to talk about crypto. Bitcoin is up about 35% year to date. That's in sharp contrast with what we have seen for stocks. As I mentioned, the S&P 500 is just about even thus far on the year. We're joined now by Cory Johnson. He is Epistrophy Capital managing member, old colleague of mine, former colleague of mine, I should mention as well. Cory, you just need to unmute yourself as we enter this brave new world of technology. So, Cory, I first want to start with you.
Brave new world with you directing, I can see that.
Yes. I first want to start with you on what has been driving this volume into cryptocurrencies this year. I mean, theoretically, this was always one of the attractive points of crypto, right? Is that when the sky is falling, maybe it's a store of value.
Yeah, I mean, store of value certainly has been the singular investment theme, I think, when it comes to crypto, with the variations thereof. But, crypto coming out of the last financial crisis, Bitcoin coming out of the last financial crisis in particular, was really written with this kind of thing in mind, with the notion that the devaluation of name your currency through the printing of money just doesn't happen when there's a fixed amount of a thing. And there's a fixed amount of Bitcoin, and there's a fixed amount of Ethereum, and there's a fixed amount of XRP. And the result is this is really what this kind of financial crisis we're going through. The crisis, of course, is greater than financial right now. But the crisis we're going through right now really was made, Bitcoin was made for that.
So, follow-up question. There has been this sort of debate within the equity markets about how much retail investors have been contributing to the current rally, right? People sitting at home, either who are working from home or maybe aren't working right now from home, who are trading stocks. And you posit that there are also quite a few people maybe who have gotten into crypto in this environment. What's leading you to that conclusion?
Yeah, it's really interesting. The commits to things like GitHub, when you look at the addition of the code that's been writing, there's been a real increase in the creative work done by people sort of building the infrastructure around Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and beyond. I mentioned those because they're the three sort of largest market caps and most actively traded among all of the crypto technologies, or cryptocurrencies, I should say. But it's a fairly interesting thing. I was going through some economic studies looking for something else, and I noticed some interesting numbers about people moonlighting, and had some conversations with some programmers that kind of back this up, that says that when programmers are working from home, they're not just working for their boss anymore. They're able to do side projects. Among the ridiculous and hilarious comments I got from programmers was, I'm a programmer, I don't have to waste time. People always ask me how I doing in the morning, and sometimes I have to go out with beers, and the amount of time wasted in human interaction is now gone. I can just program all day. So you've got these people for whom the workplace in the office was not really the most productive space. And with their extra time to be productive, they're being productive for somebody else.
Cory, Dan Roberts here. Good to have you back on. Let's get your take on the latest out of Facebook and Libra, because I remember even amid all of the hearings and all the politicians being concerned about it and going after it, people in your world, the crypto people, were saying, well, this is great for the space. Facebook getting in, this is a great thing. This is going to really bring cryptocurrency mainstream. People are going to pay attention to this. But now Facebook has seemingly revised the plans and including rebranding the wallet app, which was originally Calibra, and I think caused some confusion. But overall, it kind of looks like Facebook stepping back a little bit from Libra. What do you make of all of it? And are you still as bullish that Facebook can pull this off?
Yeah, well, I don't know how bullish I ever was on it, but I think that, look, Facebook has greater programming resources, arguably, than any company in the history of the world, and they have certainly got their mind fixed on making this thing work. And the issues that they're going to have, overnight, Facebook could drop 2 billion wallets on the world in their crypto world, and so that ability, the size of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, those are three platforms with over 1 billion users each. The notion that they can do something with crypto and something that size, and with sort of the skill that they have internally in programming around that, I'm not going to count them out. The decentralization of Facebook, I'm starting to think of decentralization just generally more in terms of decentralization on a scale of how there isn't something that's 100% decentralized, and there are things that are probably not decentralized at all. But on the continuum of decentralization, projects like Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin, are much more decentralized than Libra appears to be. And that's sort of something that the entire industry is going to wrestle with while Libra figures that out. But I think it's a long haul here. It's more than 10 years since the creation of Bitcoin. To me, the most interesting thing is sort of what are people going to be using the blockchain with, not besides speculation of store of value. And that's sort of my distinction between crypto on one side, which is a trading of an asset that may or may not have value because someone else is going to pay more or less for it. And then there's the functional blockchain. That's the use of blockchain to solve a business problem. And I think that's where real value is going to be created.
We will see. We'll check back in with you, Cory Johnson. It's good to see you. Epistrophy Capital Managing Member, Cory Johnson, joining us there. Appreciate it.